Journey to Earth's most forbidden zones. Imagine a world where the maps simply end and the nightmares begin. There are places on this earth so dangerous that once you step inside, the world forgets you. Today, we aren't just talking about myths, we are visiting 10 locations where science fails. In these zones, compasses spin wildly and people simply vanish without a trace. Join Arjun, an adventurous explorer, and Sarah, an expert geologist, as they dive into the abyss. But be warned, the number one spot is so lethal that even the bravest scientists tremble. Our journey begins in Turkmenistan, at the terrifying door to hell. Arjun and Sarah stand at the edge of the massive, glowing Darwaza gas crater. Since 1971, this hole has been screaming with fire, never flickering for a single moment. Sarah explains that while scientists expected it to burn out, the earth keeps feeding the fire. The heat is so intense that the very air shimmers and warps around them. Arjun tosses a small stone inside, watching it vanish instantly into the roar of heat. No living creature that falls into this inferno ever comes back out. From the fires of the desert, we fly across the deep blue of the Atlantic Ocean. We enter the Bermuda Triangle, where the laws of navigation begin to fail. Arjun looks at his radar, but the screen starts flickering violently. Suddenly, the signal goes completely dead, leaving them blind in the open sea. This area is a graveyard, where over 50 ships and 20 aircraft have vanished. Not a single piece of debris is ever found from some of these disappearances. Sarah mentions methane gas bubbles that can sink a massive ship in seconds. As they look at the empty horizon, they realize some mysteries defy simple science. The ocean here doesn't just swallow ships, it erases history itself. Next, we land in the Chihuahuan Desert of Mexico, entering the zone of silence. As Arjun tries to use his radio to call base, all he hears is static. The compass needle spins in circles, completely lost in this magnetic void. Sarah points to the ground, explaining that meteorites often strike here and vanish. She tells a story about a US missile that crashed here in 1970, baffling the military. In this zone, the laws of physics seem to take a holiday, leaving humans blind. We climb higher, ascending the freezing, jagged peaks of Uttarakhand, India. We reach the skeleton lake, known as Roopkund, hidden in the high altitudes. The water is clear, but as Arjun looks down, he gasps in horror. Hundreds of human skeletons are resting silently at the bottom of the lake. Sarah dates the remains back to the 9th century, revealing a tragic history. They weren't soldiers or explorers, but ordinary people caught in a storm. Leaving the frozen lake behind, Arjun and Sarah board a small plane, flying south toward the coast of Peru. As they descend, the landscape transforms into a vast, arid plateau of reddish-brown earth. Arjun looks down and notices strange, straight lines carved into the ground, stretching for miles. Suddenly, a massive figure of a monkey emerges from the dust, perfectly preserved for centuries. Sarah explains that these are the Nazca lines, ancient geoglyphs that defy logical explanation. They fly over a giant spider and a hummingbird, the scale of the art being absolutely staggering. Arjun wonders how a civilization without flight could create art that only makes sense from the sky. Sarah suggests these might have been astronomical calendars or messages for celestial beings. The plane turns east, crossing the Atlantic toward the deep sands of Mauritania in Africa. From high above, a massive blue concentric circle appears in the Sahara, looking like a giant eye. Arjun and Sarah land their gear on the outer rim of the Eye of the Sahara. Sarah explains that this 40-kilometer wide structure was once thought to be an asteroid impact site. As Arjun walks the ridges, he realizes the structure is actually a natural dome shaped by erosion. The sheer precision of the circles makes it feel as though the Earth itself was designed by an architect. Their journey takes a dark turn as they travel to France and descend into the heart of Paris. They enter the catacombs, where the air becomes heavy, damp, and smells of ancient stone. Arjun's light hits the walls, revealing millions of skulls and bones stacked in neat rows. Sarah notes that 6 million people are buried in this subterranean labyrinth, stretching 300 kilometers. Sarah warns Arjun not to stray from the marked path, as the tunnels are a confusing maze. They pass a section where the bones are scattered, reminding them of explorers who never found the exit. Escaping the depths of Paris, they fly to Japan, arriving at the base of the majestic Mount Fuji. They step into the Aokigahara forest, where the dense canopy blocks out almost all sunlight. The silence is oppressive, and Arjun notices his compass needle spinning erratically once again. Sarah explains that volcanic magnetite in the soil disrupts the magnetic field, making navigation impossible. They pass a weathered ribbon tied to a tree, a heartbreaking marker left by someone who lost their way. Sarah whispers that this is the suicide forest, a place where people come to vanish from the world. Feeling the heaviness of the air, they quickly exit the forest and fly toward the deserts of Arizona. They arrive at the Superstition Mountains, searching for the legendary Lost Dutchman's mine. Arjun studies an old map, knowing that over 600 people have died seeking this gold. Sarah warns him about the Apache legends, claiming the mountains are guarded by vengeful spirits. A sudden, violent storm rolls in, turning the sky purple and the mountains into menacing silhouettes. Realizing the danger, they retreat and head for their final, most lethal destination, Ethiopia. They land in the Danakil Depression, immediately donning heavy-duty hazmat suits to survive. The ground is a psychedelic nightmare of neon yellow, blood red, and bright green acid pools. Sarah points to a bubbling pool of acid, explaining that the pH level is nearly zero, corrosive enough to melt skin. Toxic clouds of sulfur erupt from the earth, obscuring their vision with a thick, yellow haze. Arjun checks his timer, realizing that without their suits, they would be dead in mere minutes. They stand at the gateway to hell, the most hostile environment on the planet where life simply cannot exist. As they fly away from the depression, Arjun and Sarah look back at the map of the 10 forbidden zones. They realize that while humans claim to own the earth, some corners of the world refuse to be tamed. These mysteries remind us that we are small and that some secrets are better left undisturbed for eternity. The journey ends, leaving us to wonder why we are so drawn to the places that want us gone.